Hello.
Welcome back.
We have a special guest star today. His name is Jackson, and he is really annoying. So
We're going to try to make sure he's not snorting, but if you have a lot of extra noises,
apologies.
it's the dog. And for those who can't see what he looks like, he is a Yorkie poo with a massive overbite. And Ashlyn's dog.
He's my puppy.
Lay back down. We're done.
She touched him, so now he's going to be a little...
Sit.
Just be chill. No, she's not going to rub you.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome back.
Welcome back
Episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3. I'm actually surprised that we've stuck with it.
I'm surprised too, but I think a big motivating factor is my mom's like, I just watched your YouTube. I was like, oh, thanks.
Yes.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, we did get a notification that we had 25 downloads, and I was like, Haley, I did not download any. And she was like,
I didn't download any either.
So
someone's listening, and we love it. Let us know that you're listening.
Yes, please, because we've gotten very, very limited feedback.
So we're still deciding the books for you because we don't know what you want to listen to. But we talked about it last time that we were going to start with Hooked today.
Yes.
Ashlyn has it pulled up on her Kindle.
Yes.
So for those that are watching on YouTube, you know, the fun, it's kind of hard to see because our Kindles are black and white, but it has the clock from like the clock tower, Hooked.
Yes, it is. I like the cover. Hard to see on the cover of the Kindle.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure if we were reading on like a Kindle Fire, we would see the colors.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Had to jump forward.
Sorry.
So going back, we're doing Hook this week. If you have not read it, we're going to let you know what it's about and then pause you before we get into spoilers.
Yes.
So would you like to give them a rundown of what this book is about?
Sure. So Hooked is a modern day telling of Peter Pan with Hook and Wendy. It is basically Hook is in the mafia or something similar.
Yeah.
Into the drug trading world, and it's not overly present. It's hinted at. I mean, not even hinted at. Like it's talked
they run
about,
drugs,
but it's not a main part of the book. If anybody has trigger warnings over drugs and such, there's not much drug use, if any. Mm-mm. But it is basically Hook and Wendy, their love story, which
can be a little rough.
Is rough.
There are trigger warnings for this book, though, so if you have not read it, make sure you Google what they are before you're diving headfirst into it.
Yes. I think that's a pretty good synopsis.
Yeah.
Without spoiling
anything, modern day Hook and Wendy.
So, as usual, if you haven't read it, this is the part 2. Go read,
skedaddle,
pause, come back.
Okay. Now, if you're here,
you've read it.
All bets are off. You're going to hear stuff.
Yes. So, this book, what would you rate it?
Oh, shoot.
I don't even know that I actually rated it on Goodreads.
I did rate it, and I rated this 5 stars.
Oh, did you? I think I was going between a 4 and a 5. Mainly because of that one scene.
The one scene,
I was so pissed.
We'll get to that scene, though.
But,
yes.
Yeah, I think I did end up rating it a 5.
That's the one thing that was holding me back when we talk about that scene. We'll talk about it. But I read this book. I love that Goodreads tells me when I started and finished a book.
If you put those in... Well, I guess it transfers over from your Kindle.
From your Kindle.
Yeah.
Because when you open up a book on Kindle, it says, add to your reading list on Goodreads, and I just always have that checked. Unless there's a book I don't want you guys to see that I read.
See, I never even rated it. What the heck?
Wow. Slacker. Well, you finished it yesterday, so.
That is true. Yesterday morning.
I read this book back in February. It was recommended by one of the many Facebook groups that we're in. And yes. I told Ashlyn she needed to read it too because it was really good. But
it was talked about a lot on the Facebook groups, and I think I had seen it and was like, ooh, I kind of want to read that. Like, I'm into some of the fan fiction. I mean, it's not fan fiction, but, where it's kind of based off of characters that you know.
I mean, I guess it would be fan fiction.
Kind of, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. But I read Hooked because I saw everyone talking about the sequel to this called Scarred.
Yes.
But I'm OCD. And even though they don't correlate with each other whatsoever, I felt the need to read Hooked first.
That's fair.
Before I read Scarred. Scarred is the Lion King version, which I started it. I'm only 8% through, and Goodreads is going to tell me that I started it like 2 months ago.
Oh, got it.
I got into other books, but Scarred so far was sounding like it was going to be good. Hooked, though, read it, loved it. Everyone was still saying that Scarred is better. We'll see.
I haven't read it.
I didn't see, but Hooked is a top favorite of mine.
Yeah, it was very good.
So you rated it 5. I rated it 5 overall.
Yeah.
Spicy rating.
Honestly, probably like a 4 or 5. I mean, it was really, the spice that was there was good.
Yes, I would think it was like a 4.
Yeah.
4. 4 out of 5 for spiciness. There actually is spiciness, but I liked that the book had plot.
Yes.
What was that TikTok video you tagged me in?
Oh, yeah. So there was a TikTok video that I saw, and I sent it to Haley, and it was basically describing the difference between erotica, spicy, and smut, I think. And I was like, oh my gosh.
But she did it in a Venn diagram. So in the middle is smut.
Where it has plot and spice.
Yes. And spice is like the plot is great. There's sexual tension. There's like a little bit like not crazy. Erotica is no plot.
Literally straight sex.
But then what you call it? The good middle. I don't know. The part where the Venn diagram overlaps is smut. You have a great plot, great sex, smut novel.
Yes.
I think this is a smut novel.
Yes, and I used to always think if it's smut, it's erotica. Yeah. But now I'm like, I see there are different categories. So we will mainly be talking about smut. Yeah. Like there is a few books that are probably erotica that we will talk about in our Patreon.
Yeah.
Probably won't talk too much about the spice only because
I'm just going to tell you ACOTAR is spice.
I know.
No, that's why I haven't read it. I mean, there are some scenes, but the overall book is not.
Are they fade to black
sexual.
scenes?
No, never fade to black.
I read a book the other day, and I texted Haley because I was so mad. We were both reading it, and it had fade to black scenes, and I almost threw the book.
What book?
It was The Unhoneymooners.
Oh. We're not going to talk about the book on this podcast because it was not a 5-star book.
Sorry.
But anyway, a 4-star for me.
I don't even know what I rated it. It was probably a 4, honestly, because I'm much nicer.
Yeah, you're nicer. So getting back to this.
Yes, getting back to Hooked.
So we agreed overall 5 out of 5. Spice 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
I almost said 4 out of 4.
4 out of 4.
4 out of 4.
Which also is a 5.
So 4 out of 5 for Spice. Okay, moving on. Hooked. Well, Hook.
Specifically James.
I can't say his last name. Was it Barre? Bear?
Not American.
Not American. James, aka Hook, was the mafia boyfriend I didn't know that I needed.
Yeah, and also, just real quick, I'm not trying to be that person, but like, hey, smut authors, can we pick a name other than James?
Oh my gosh. He was our, 4th or 5th James that we've read in the past 2 months?
I am overwhelmed at the amount of books that use the freaking main character's name as James. Because it's getting very confusing.
The In-Flight series, James. Perfect Strangers.
Yep.
James.
Hooked
was James. And then
I feel like there was one more.
There was one more, but we've read a handful of books in the last 2 months, and all the guys' names were James. And it's running together in my head, and I was like, I don't know if James from this book did that thing or James from that book did that thing.
I know. And you can't just say, oh, James from that book.
Oh, no, it was the T.L. Swan book. James.
That's right.
Mr.
James. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
The stopover.
It was James.
Miles. My God. Gosh. It's the Miles High.
Yeah, so we had series. 4 different James, but we read the In-Flight series. We're on book 3, so there's 3 books with James. It's a lot of James.
Please just pick another name.
I'm ready for something interesting.
Pick a unique name. Then I can say like, I have a book boyfriend and this is his name, and people will know who I'm talking about and what book I'm talking about.
Riz.
Is that how you say it?
Rysand?
That's from ACOTAR, right?
Yeah, he's my book boyfriend.
See?
I absolutely love him.
Haven't read it, and I even know who that's from.
Okay, well, I don't know if you say Riz as Riz, but like that's his nickname because his full name is Rysand.
Oh, I said Rise. R-H-Y-S?
R-H-Y-S. I say Riz.
I'm saying Rise.
Okay.
I haven't read it.
But I think you pronounce his name Rysand.
Sure.
Riz.
So it would make sense to be Rice.
Okay. Moving on from my book boyfriend. You haven't even read that series. Okay?
You are correct.
Hooked. James. Loved him. I mean, he was messed up.
I loved him to an extent. That one scene, I did not love him even a little bit.
It was hard.
Yes, it was hard. It was, so, this book has a bit of Stockholm Syndrome, kind of, because she's not, like, they had a relationship prior.
Well, she thought they had a relationship.
And he was just using her.
But in his head, I think he did care for her. Because multiple times he called her, like, his greatest weakness, and... like, there was definitely something there in his head that he did care for Wendy, but his end game was still going to hurt Wendy.
Yeah. I mean, there was literally... He specifically said, I'm going to kill you. And she was like, I don't want to die. And I was like,
yeah,
what is happening?
That whole scene was rough. And honestly, I loved the book until we got to the part where... It was her birthday. It was her birthday, and he thought she was in on whatever Peter was doing.
Yes, I was just really frustrated because he never even gave her a chance. Like, he just automatically kidnapped her, kept her down there, tortured her, basically, and didn't even hear her out.
I think it also goes back to he was messed up too, so
True.
He doesn't trust people.
That is true.
Like, James, I had a great childhood compared to James.
We all had great, well, not we all, but we both had
compared
great
to what
childhood.
James went through, but for his parents to be murdered by Peter, basically.
Yes.
And then he went to go live with an uncle, which normally you would think living with a family member would be a safe thing, but then for his uncle to take advantage of him.
It was not.
And to do things explicitly to him,
underage. I will tell you, I got this book very confused with In Flight for a while.
Oh.
They're very similar.
Well, actually, they are. Yeah, both Jameses went through. Spoiler for In Flight. Both Jameses had very similar upbringings where they were taken advantage of by uncles,
and they both had the kink that they have,
right?
Of some BDSM, and it was just very. I was like, I feel like I'm reading another version of In Flight.
But I read Hooked first.
And I read In Flight first.
So it was, yes. But I think that's why, too, he didn't give Wendy the benefit of the doubt because he grew up learning, like, kill or be killed. Like, I can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make it right, and it made me not like him right then. But then I think everything was redeemed.
It was very redeemed, I will say that. And I was like, oh, shit, a twist. And then I was like, oh, another twist.
Like, we're twisting everywhere.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, shit, there's another one. Yeah, no, okay. So Smee, I knew.
I didn't know.
I knew. I was like, there is something messed up with Smee. I don't know what it is, but he ain't right. And then the twist happened. I mean, not really a twist, but, like a mild twist of just being like, he is...
a plot uncovering.
He is Croc. Which also, just side note to this, I loved how many references there were.
It was so good.
And they were really well entwined.
Yeah, but it was like subtle.
Yes. I made a list of them because I really liked them.
At first, I didn't even catch that the uncle was Croc at first. But then I was like, the alligator skin boots,
Mm-hmm,
he's the one that Hook is always battling.
Yep.
But then Smee becoming the second Croc.
Yes. So the twist for me was that they were related and that he was his cousin. I was like, oh shit. I did not see that coming. I knew Smee was up to no good, but I did not realize that they would be related.
Well, okay, I gotta readjust. I had an inkling when Wendy was left on the boat in Smee's care, and he was he was kind of weird.
That's where I started.
And I was like, yeah. But I like Smee. Smee is sweet. Smee is just grateful for a job and a house. But that whole interaction, I was like, something is off. But I still didn't put it together that Smee was a bad guy.
Yeah, I was like, here's what I hate. In this book, just for the record, here's what I hate, and this book is not that. I hate when at the end, there's this grand thing of, oh, here's the bad guy. And you've never even heard of this bad guy. He just comes out of left field. I'm like, You couldn't have entwined that person just a little bit to make it seem like it's more of a shocker. But this Smee was pretty well entwined. He had a backstory.
And they made you think that Peter was doing a lot of the stuff, and it was Smee.
Yes.
With like the tattoos. And as I was going back through the book, and I was reading the beginning when Hook was making what's her face, like give him a BJ under the desk, and she was like, careful, I just got a new tattoo. And I was like, I didn't even catch that in the first reading.
Oh yeah, well they referenced it at the end.
They did reference it at the end, but then going back and like re-looking at my notes and seeing, you know, what I didn't catch as like a clue the first time I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, she was, from the beginning, she was adding the stuff in.
Yeah,
she was
good. She was a very good author.
Emily, you are.
I will
Chef's
definitely
kiss.
be reading Scarred at some point.
Well, and she also has Wretched, which I have not looked to see what that is, but it's another one. It's the third in the series of a Disney villain.
I see.
Retelling.
Yeah, and then when it came out that John was his brother,
yes,
I was like, I'm so happy. I'm happy for James to have a brother.
But poor John. That was one of the
Yes.
things that it messed me up, how little he was treated well by Peter. I mean, Peter was a piece of trash.
Yes.
But
There always has to be one piece of trash.
poor John. Like, Peter was never there. Wendy had to, like, fill that parent role of, I have to tell John he's going to a boarding school.
At 20.
Yes. But then, see, it was like the small things that James did that were out of character that made me really love him. Like, when he drove them to the boarding school, and he had to talk with the headmaster, and he was like, you treat him well, all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Even though he had to get somewhere. Like, he basically, like, sped after that to do whatever.
You know, that was also the twist for him. He was like, I'm late. Rue is dead.
Oh, yes.
So Wendy has to be in on it. Mm-hmm. And by the way, R.I.P. to Rue, because that really was his parent figure for a long time.
Straight on till morning.
I did, my heart fluttered. And then they said it at the end. Mm-hmm. Listen, this was a good book.
It was good. And I think that, I don't know, I think Emily McIntire, just the way she would slowly add to the plot. Like, I didn't think that I loved Rue as much as I did until James was standing over his body. And I was like, oh my God, like, my heart hurts.
Yeah. My heart hurt for James. And I was like, even though he was blaming Wendy the entire time.
And I think that too was a stressor. Like, childhood, upbringing, no trust. But then, like, his one parental figure is now gone too. He's like, all bets are off with Wendy.
Yeah. And he's 26. And I just imagine being alone at 26. Not having a single parent figure in your life at that point.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
he was
hard.
26.
Yes.
Why did I not realize he was younger than me?
I'm pretty sure, because
I know Wendy was 20 and she turned 21. Like, that was a big thing.
And I think they said that he was 6 years older.
Wow.
I
feel real old. I'm getting older than my book boyfriends.
That's what I am seeing. Okay, so I'm seeing on the Facebook page of people being like, so does anybody have any recommendations for somebody that's like in their 30s? And I'm like,
Come to me.
I'm starting to feel that, yeah, because they're all like right out of high school or...
And yeah, as I get older, I'm like, I know people go crazy about Zodiac Academy is something that I've seen so much. People posted.
Yes, I've seen that.
But I don't like school books anymore.
Until you read Gothicana.
Okay, I will read Gothicana. But yeah, I want them older.
I do, yeah. I'm getting to the age of wanting the 30-year-old heroine instead of the right out of college, high school age. Mm-hmm. And also, I just read these books and I'm like, are you really telling me that the main male character has his life this much together at 26?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe Hook specifically because he has such an interesting upbringing, but like a regular 26-year-old is going around being a fuckboy. Like, he's not got his life together.
Especially
like,
if he looks like James.
Yeah, like they're portraying, like all these authors are portraying these people, and I'm like, not the case.
Sorry, I just slapped Ashlyn's thigh.
Yeah, that was really loud. I apologize.
It
wasn't even me. No, I apologize for her.
We were talking. You just mentioned how great he looks.
No, you mentioned that, but okay.
Okay, I just mentioned how great he looks. There was one scene in this book where Wendy does not know that James is Hook, and that really bitchy friend that's not even her friend.
Angie? No. Starts with an M.
Something, but Angela is her friend. Angie, whatever, is her friend. It's the third
but
girl.
like real quick, not a great friend, just for the record, because she literally went missing. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yes.
Finish your thought.
Okay. Wendy didn't know that James was Hook.
Yes.
Didn't know he owned the bar. I died loving the scene where the really bitchy friend is like, oh my god, he's coming over here, and she's like getting herself ready, and he comes up behind Wendy and talks, and she's just like, shit.
I wish I could remember her. Maria. No. Marla. No. Something like that. Maybe it is Maria.
I don't know. It was something. But then James is like not even giving her the time of day, and he's like solely focused on Wendy. And that's the kind of, like, I like that possessive attention that
in a book boyfriend.
If my husband did that,
for future suitors. In a book boyfriend.
We like that. The alpha male. In real life,
yes.
Give me my space.
Absolutely.
And then he was like, yeah, I own the bar. And she's like, I didn't know it was your bar. And then she like looked over at the girl. She's like, I did not know.
Yes.
And then she's like, whatever. He's going to be done with you in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. What a bitch.
And she's like, you know what? I will stay. You guys go home. I'm going to go hang out in his office. I was like, yes, Wendy, snaps.
Yeah, no, but like real quick, let's talk about Angie, because I even made a note of like, where in the shit is this girl's friend? Like, I mean, I guess it's hard for me because I have Haley and like I have really great best friends that if I weren't responding for like 2 or 3 days, you would hunt me down. I didn't respond. Okay, let's just quick story time.
Yesterday.
Sure, we'll go with the one yesterday.
Okay, we're recording this on a Sunday because it comes out on Wednesday. So a Saturday.
Wait, what happened yesterday?
That I sent you like 3 Snapchats.
Oh, that's true. And then she sent me a video via text being like, why aren't you looking at my Snapchats?
Are you dead?
I see you sending me TikToks. And I was like, well, then there's your answer. I'm on TikTok. But there was a day like a week ago where I was working. Okay, so somebody is off for the summer. I was working and it was like 3:00 in the afternoon. I work a normal 8 to 5. But
she works from home. Okay, so keep that in mind.
I do work from home, but I'm in meetings almost all day, every day, depending on the day. And that day, I was in them all day. And I think you were just texting me, and I wasn't answering because I was in meetings.
Yeah, I'm trying.
And then she FaceTimed me to make sure I was still live, and I was still in a meeting. Girl.
Okay, Ashlyn, I'm just saying you're welcome.
Thank you.
Such a loyal friend.
No, absolutely.
If you ever go missing,
you would know.
We're starting the investigation like 30 minutes after you're gone.
That's true.
Your seat would still be warm.
That is absolutely accurate. That's what I mean, though. Like, I guess this is not normal. Like, I guess people don't... I mean, I don't know book-wise, but
I mean, we've been friends for over a decade, so...
That's true.
Maybe
but
we're special.
That's true. But, like, it just astounds me that this... And first off, I don't know that they were friends before they started working at the coffee shop
I don't
together.
think that they were. Like,
so really, they were just, like, close coworkers.
Wendy just moved to Florida from Boston.
Right.
And she met her at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And I think she'd only been there for, like a month or 2 before she met James?
Probably.
So this friendship was 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, just kind of pissed me off.
But she told Wendy, too, she's like, I don't even know why you're working. You have money. So in my head, I was thinking, well, maybe she just thinks that Wendy quit.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe, but like...
She didn't need to work. She has James, too, so she has Rich Dad and James.
Even though James was torturing her in the basement of Jolly Roger.
She didn't know that.
Well, if she were you, she would.
I enjoyed when he finally let her out of the basement and they went to the gala, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And her dad was there. But her dad did not know she was missing.
Yeah.
Because that is how uninvolved he is in their lives. I've just freaking...
Oh, yeah. What he said... Because she confronted him, and he said, I just thought you were, like, dodging our security because you were mad at the situation or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, also, shitty security, you probably shouldn't be paying them because they're clearly not doing their job.
They can't find her for days.
Yeah,
But that whole thing, and just Wendy realizing that her dad does not.
He literally was about to let Hook kill her in front of, like, at that gala. And Hook was like,
but I think that was a turning point for Wendy, too.
Oh, absolutely.
And she said, even if Hook, like, put me through this, I'm better with him than with my dad right now.
100%. Mm-hmm. At least Hook pretended. I mean, like, he did care. Like, obviously he cared.
I think being back in her presence, those feelings were coming back and not, like, in the, you got an itchy nose, girl?
I really do. I don't know what's going on.
I think them being out of the basement situation, he was getting back into their routine of, I do care about her, and, like, I want to put my hands on her again.
Yes.
But he still didn't believe Wendy at that point.
Yes, but I enjoyed that even though she had been kidnapped in this basement, that whenever Rue was mentioned, she still comforted him.
Yeah.
And I was like, see,
Wendy
that's who Wendy is.
Human.
I'm like, her actions should speak louder than whatever your brain is doing. Mm-hmm. But he's messed up.
His brain is messed up. Yeah. I think this is one of the first books where I actually thought about what his upbringing was. Because most of the time I jump and I'm like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And I don't think about, like, what the author said that they went through.
I believe that.
And with James, I was just thinking, okay, I really like him. I can't be mad at him.
He's had a rough
life, and now Rue's dead, and he thinks that Wendy betrayed him. Like, fine.
But real quick, it just came to my mind. The end. So when all of the twists are happening, all the secrets are coming out, and then literally Hook is on his knees, bleeding, about to die. Mm-hmm. Her dad is about to kill him, and then she ends up shooting her dad.
I know.
I was damn,
shook.
girl.
It's like, Wendy, way to take your life back, but
also that's going to scar you for literally the rest of your life. But yeah, no, I was shooketh. I was very shooketh. I was surprised that she didn't just, like, shoot him in the leg or something.
Yeah, shoot him for a kill shot.
I mean, to be fair, also, if you've never shot a gun before, you're usually not that accurate. But I think she was pretty close to him, that it would have been, like, if I shoot you, like, there's not many places it can go other than your head.
I mean, they do say if someone is invading your home,
you
shoot to kill.
You shoot to kill.
You don't shoot to maim, but...
Another reason, welcome to Texas. But, yeah, so that is... Pew, pew, pew.
Oh, that's kind of... We're not going to talk about that.
Anywho, yeah, we're not going to get political.
Yeah, Texas
on
has
this.
Some issues.
We have our own very similar opinions, but we will not talk about them
because this is a book.
It's for books. But yeah, when she shot her dad, I was like, wow, that was unexpected.
I didn't see that part coming at all.
No,
like I thought someone else was going to come in. I was like, there's no way James is about to die. But I didn't think that Wendy was going to be the one to do it.
I also did not think. I thought, here's how my brain saw it playing out. I was like, okay, even though Hook is depleting quickly, I don't know, something's going to happen where he gets a gun or gets his knife or something, and he does something to the dad.
Saves himself.
So that, because he's already done a lot of killing, so, like, honestly, it means nothing to him to kill
another notch on his belt.
Yeah, but for Wendy to do it, she has never killed, and that, especially someone as close as your dad. Like, and she did it well, Emily, where she was basically saying, like, there is so much history. Like, there are good things to remember, and it's hard to even, like, that's probably what I would see. I mean, I would never kill anybody, but, like, if I were ever in that situation, it'd be hard for me to see.
I would kill somebody. Under certain circumstances. AKA, someone I love was in danger. I would.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're just going to, like, nothing can be held liable on this podcast.
I'm just saying, if someone was, like, about to kill someone I loved, like, I would do everything to stop them. And if they killed them, yep, I'm Wendy.
All right. Okay. I just don't know what I would do if I were ever put in that situation.
So if someone was trying to kill me?
I would do everything in my power.
Okay. Good to know. So you would kill too. If it came down to it. I don't want to kill someone.
I don't want to kill anybody. I'm thinking of the trauma I would have to go through for the rest of my life.
Therapy. We'd be in therapy. I'm just saying, if I was ever in some horrific situation where it was kill or be killed,
I would call Matt.
Okay, Matt is not...
Yeah, Matt is also a pacifist, so I would...
That's my husband.
Do everything that we could.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Matt would be like,
He'd be like, can I ask them questions?
Why are you trying to kill her?
Can I just ask you, is it something she did, or is it something you're going through? Yeah. That's not how he sounds, but like he asks a lot of questions.
He does ask a lot of questions.
He would question them to death.
They would probably leave.
Honestly,
call Matt. Call Matt.
I was like, I'm just feeling like we could probably get out of this safely by just having him interrogate
question them to boredom until he leaves.
And then and then the killer's just like, so now I'm just confused. And honestly, I'm kind of like rethinking some things because I'm questioning my existence. So, and I feel like that would be a really great way for us.
Okay.
See?
We have it down.
I got it.
Call Matt.
We'll team up. It'll be great. If he can't get there in time, I'll do what I have to do.
Thank you. I just needed to hear that because it sounded like you were going to let me die.
No, not intentionally.
Okay, thank you. Now, going back to our book.
Sorry.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Let me check my notes, but I think we pretty much covered everything. Honestly, the Rue thing was...
The Rue thing was gut-wrenching.
Sad. Very sad.
I liked how subtly Emily made sure that Smee had people on the inside.
Yes.
Like with the tattoos, and James didn't have any inkling that they were, like, he knew that there was a mole when he first interrogated the guy at the beginning of the book. He knew that there was someone on the inside that wasn't there, like, good for them, but he had no idea how close he was to the people that were actually betraying him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Also, I went through checking my notes, and I just remembered I loved that James was calling John to check on him in the school. And also, I wrote, I can't believe he's sending him to a troubled youth school.
Oh, yeah.
But then, as the book went on, and
when
as we found out that he's not
Peter's son.
Peter's son.
But James was doing that before he knew.
Yes, he was just being a good guy.
He's a good.
While also keeping Wendy hostage.
It goes back to the thing. There is good in everyone. You might have to dig to find it.
Very deeply dig.
I mean, I don't think that there's good in everyone.
I don't think there's good in everyone.
I think there's good in most people. And you have to dig for some people.
We do watch a lot of true crime documentaries and podcasts and such, so I can say without a doubt there is not good in everyone.
I mean, yeah, on the way here I was listening to a Night Stalker podcast. And literally these girls are just obsessed with the Night Stalker. He's dead now, whatever. And she was like, let me just read you some of the big questions that they wanted to ask him in prison. And they said, what's the thing that you love, you can't live without? And he said, cocaine.
Oh.
And then another question said, if you really liked a girl, how would you get her attention? And he said, pull out my gun. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God. That's not.
And these were fangirls writing to him in prison.
Absolutely not.
After he murdered sweet old ladies. And okay. There is not good in everyone. There are some very bad apples in the world. But James had good in him.
And the epilogue. I really okay, so I know a lot of people don't like when they get pregnant and have a kid at the end. I like when they do because it means they've been they've been together long enough and they're establishing a life. But I don't know if you remember this, but the first time she went on his boat, his home, and she was like, I don't like water because I don't know how to swim. Yeah. And then they were out on the open sea at the end, and all I was like, hope that girl learned to swim. And they named the baby Rue. And my heart was happy.
I love the epilogue. I think that them getting pregnant is a very big cliche, but I'm not against it.
It is a cliche.
And honestly, when I read one and I'm like, oh yeah, they got pregnant, that just makes me happy because I'm like, that means that they have their happily ever after. But it also means that James has grown enough that he wants to have a child.
Yes. Well,
Even
there
though
was
his childhood was so messed up, he's going to make sure that his kids...
There was a thing that I highlighted because I was like, here it is. So James was saying, for the record, I would give you the world. You simply have to ask. You want kids? Done. You want to stay here and never work again? Another kiss this time just beneath my ear. Done. And I was like, I want to never work again.
I want to never work again too. Matt, are you listening? Matt?
Future spouse, I hope you're not listening to this because this would be really odd for you to find me like this. But
what if you are? Hey, what if your future spouse was listening to this and he's like, girl, you want me to just buy you all the books?
I do want you to buy me the books, and I will marry you. So, yes, I really enjoyed that. I mean, he was open to the idea. I didn't see what page that was on, but
we didn't even talk about their sex life at all.
Sex life.
Wow, we made the whole video almost, and we didn't even talk about it.
It's because the plot was so good.
The plot was so good, and honestly, we love reading smutty novels, but I think I loved the plot so much, the sex took a back burner.
Honestly, yeah.
But the sex scenes were really good.
The sex scenes were really good. The fact, first and foremost, she was 20 and she was a virgin.
I think that comes also with having a very powerful father.
Yeah.
And she was scared to tell James her name and who her dad was because she didn't want him to think any differently of her.
That's true.
Well, she didn't want him to... Did I say it right the first time?
I feel like you did.
Okay, she was scared, but then he played it cool and acted like he didn't know, which that kind of bugged me too, but like she was very relieved.
Yes.
And I think that's another reason why she probably was a virgin at her age, because she knew that anyone getting close to her was probably trying to get a piece of her dad.
That is true.
Now, James in the bedroom.
Ooh.
I'm down for more books like that.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Like the just slight pressure of the throat.
Oh, slight pressure?
I'm saying for YouTube. For YouTube.
That's fair.
There's some slight pressure on her throat that she did not realize that she liked until she met Hook.
Oh, no, she realized. You remember? She was like, Okay, so you don't remember? Okay, so the first time, they had dinner at his house.
Yes.
You know, like first time before anything.
Yeah.
And he fingered her, and that was all that happened. And he was like, how would you get yourself off? And she grabbed his hand.
Oh, yes. Okay, see, I thought...
She knew.
I thought he opened her world to that.
I think he opened her world to a lot of things, but I don't think that was one of them. And also, how do you do that to yourself?
I don't know.
I just don't know how that...
I don't know how to... No.
I don't.
But I'm just saying, those scenes were very steamy. Emily wrote wonderful scenes. They were very descriptive.
And it didn't feel overbearing. Like, it was just enough where I was like, this is good. This is a good sprinkle within all of the other things that are happening.
But with her book... Again, the plot just took such a forefront.
Me too.
That when we got to a sex scene, I was like, this is a great addition to the story, but it is not centered around it.
Yeah, and I like that a lot. Mm-hmm. The story was so good. I'm just thinking about it again.
You're welcome.
Okay, so it's definitely a 5 for me. Like, I know I was going between a 4 and a 5, but it's definitely a 5.
You're welcome.
I really liked it.
Thank you. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
So now I think that's everything, right?
I think that's pretty much sums it up, yeah.
And we originally had picked out another book to do for our later July episode, but I already read it, and
that's going to be a Patreon.
I was texting Ashlyn. I was like, girl, this is too much. We can't put this on the YouTube.
Are we saying?
Yeah, so it's, who's the author?
Couldn't tell you. You read it, not me.
Oh, Sarah Kate.
That's right.
If you want to read Praise by Sarah Kate, you can read that, and we will cover that on our Patreon episode. Just to give you a little hinty of what it's about. She breaks up, well, she and her boyfriend break up. She's like early, mid-20s.
Of course she is.
No, she's not. She's 21. Why did I think she was older than that?
Of course she is.
I need an older heroine. But the whole
30s.
The whole point of this book is that there's an age gap. She and her boyfriend break up. She meets her boyfriend's estranged father, who happens to own a high-end kind of like sex club.
This is my kind of genre.
So this one is very much more focused on the sex.
It's more. Would you say it's more erotica than smut?
Yes, like there is an underlying plot, but it's much more about their relationship and their sex. So I would say it leans more towards erotica than smut.
As we said, most erotica will be on
the Patreon. But yes, if you're into age gaps with daddy figures and some like dom sub vibes. That's why it's not going to be on Patreon, or not on YouTube. It'll be on Patreon.
Yeah, we will be doing that on our Patreon. The one that we are going to do next is called, who's the author?
Tessa Bailey. We're going back to our girl Tessa. We love her.
Yes, it's going to be My Killer Vacation
by Tessa Bailey. And it's just to also a little hinty for that one. If you liked It Happened One Summer, it sound like our friend already read this book and she said she loved it. It sounds kind of like those vibes where the guy's like really rugged and gruff. But basically, this girl's an elementary school teacher, obsessed with true crime podcasts. Hello, welcome. And she goes on vacation and like uncovers like a body, I guess, in her Airbnb. Wow. Enter stage left, gruff bounty hunter trying to find said killer. And she's like, I'm an expert. I listen to true crime podcasts. I'm going to help you.
This would be me.
Yes. I got little chilly bumps because I was thinking about Brendan from It Happened One Summer. We're going to read that one next. So if you want to read, make sure you get My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey before our next episode, which I don't know what date that is.
Couldn't tell you.
In 2 weeks. It's late July, and it's going to be the third Wednesday.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I'm very excited for this one.
I am too, because I really loved Tessa.
Because I would do this.
Yeah,
I
would not.
I absolutely would. So you would kill somebody for me.
In dire circumstances.
But you won't team up with a hot, rugged bounty hunter.
I am married.
I am not.
I cannot do those things.
I am unrestricted, and I can do these things.
I would not put myself in line of being hurt by someone who killed somebody.
Oh, no, I would hide behind
the rugged bounty hunter.
Bounty hunter, yeah. No, I'd be like, so this is, I'll help you, like, brains-wise, but you got the bronze, so I'm just going to be here, and you can do that. That's what I would do.
Great.
So we're going to do that next.
All right.
Well, I think that wraps it up.
Hey, I was going back, and I was looking, and on our very first episode, you're like, let's end by talking about something great that happened during the week.
Oh my gosh, I did say that.
We didn't even do it the second episode.
So are you telling me that we're doing it this episode?
Yeah, because actually I have something to talk about.
Okay, so you're going to have to go first, I think.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, but next week I am flying to Florida.
Oh.
Because I am finally going on my honeymoon.
Finally!
I got married last September. Hi, COVID season.
Yay.
And now we postponed our honeymoon because we were originally going to Europe, but don't know if you know, Delta took over in France. So we did not want to book anything in Europe with the possibility of losing money. So we are going on our cruise to the Caribbean.
Exciting.
Honeymoon on Friday.
That's so exciting.
Oh, I said next week. This is coming out Wednesday. In 2 days, I'm going on my honeymoon.
That's way more exciting than mine is.
What's yours?
I got buttons for my dog to talk.
Oh, that's right.
I only got 2. I mean, it was a pack of 4, but I decided to do 2 of each and put them in strategic locations. So one of them is potty, so that he can tell me if he has to go out, because
he's just laying on the floor.
He's so bad about telling me. Like, sometimes he's really good about just like laying over there, but he doesn't make any noise or anything. So sometimes I'm working and I don't see him, and I'm not paying attention to him, and then he goes elsewhere and does his business, and I'm not happy about it. And then also, I really need to get one of the water bowls that you have, but I don't. I have just one of the little regular water bowls, and he drinks water a lot. And he does the same thing where he lays over by his water bowl, but waiting for me to fill it. And I'm like, hey, if you could like tell me and be like, hey mom, I'm freaking thirsty, I would come. So I got one that says water and one that says potty.
He just needs to learn to press them.
He needs to learn to
put his paw on
I've tried.
Oh.
It's a process. It just started about 2 days ago. So
I love watching those videos. I love the cats.
I don't understand how they've taught their dogs so many.
Well, have you seen the ones, just a side note, there's some on Facebook, and there's a cat named Russell, and he'll like tattle on his animal friends?
I don't know that I probably have, but I enjoyed that.
But then he's like, the dad's like, hey, Russ, do you want some pets? And Russ will go over and say, no.
Oh, sassy. I like him.
I love the animal buttons. So hopefully Jackson learns.
Hopefully. He's really scared to put his paw on it.
Oh.
It was a whole fight that we had.
We'll mess with it after we're done with this.
For sure. But yeah, yours is way more exciting than mine. But
well, that's the only exciting thing I'm going to have. Maybe we'll do it more and we'll think about...
We'll actually think about it throughout the week. Or I will.
Well, and increase our outlook. Be like, there's always something positive.
I had dog buttons.
I know. That's great.
That's pretty freaking positive.
Yeah, that's great.
Because there was nothing else extreme that happened this week. I mean, I got to see my friends yesterday.
Yeah, girls' night. I was real late. I slept in way too late.
I also slept. I was like, ooh, tomorrow's going to be rough. Yeah. Got home at 12:30. Didn't go to bed until 1:30 because...
Same. Because I got home and my husband wanted to talk to me.
The worst. I mean, not the worst. I mean, like, if my future husband's out there, but also, like, the worst, okay? Like, if I get home late, don't talk to me.
Yeah. He's like, how was it? Did you bring me cookies? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay.
Questions.
I'm going to go take my makeup off. It's time to go.
You were wearing makeup yesterday?
I mascara.
Oh.
Nothing else.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Natural beauty.
All right. Well, sorry. Gosh, Ashlyn keeps itching her nose.
I don't know what's going on. I think it's because you're here.
I don't know. Okay.
Isn't that it? Your nose itches when you have company?
No. Your nose...
I'm pretty sure that's the thing.
Itches when someone talks about you.
No. When you have company.
Okay.
Expecting
I don't know,
company.
but now I'm staring at your nose. Okay, we're done.
Is it red?
Yes. We're done. Thanks for coming back for episode 3. We will see you at the end of July with My Killer Vacation.
Absolutely. So, bye. Have a super great day. Super great week. Bye.